Yeah, nothing matters. Existence is meaningless, and time is a non-linear figment of the imagination. Wouldn't it be funny if we just started the episode right there?
It would be.
It would be. Should we do it? I think we should do it.
Okay.
Okay. And welcome back to the 1 hour, 1 brain cell podcast. We are continuing to do this thing, and it gets a little more chaotic every week, I feel like, on the intros. Eventually we're just gonna plop you straight into an episode one of these times with no introduction and no warning, and just throw you into the fire. As always, I am joined by my co-host Richie Flores, who is the newest member of the Hannah Einbinder fan club.
This is 100% true. And I am joined by my co-host Jordan, who needs to ask less questions about Severance because even I don't know the damn answers. Okay.
Yeah. I'm still gonna ask questions. I'm at the point where I'm wondering where the baby goats are coming from. That was a lot for me. We'll get into that, but both of us have apparently made exceedingly good recommendations for the other person because we're buzzing through the TV shows that we were recommending each other last week. Maybe they're just good TV shows. So either way, we have kind of a lot, but very, very much a mixed bag as always, on the podcast segments list for today. Where would you like to start?
Well, let's start with the good news.
The good news. Okay. Which good news? The Formula One good news or the
multiple points of good news, which is great. Well, I'm looking at your name that you have put in your thing here, and it says Manifested Mayhem Ball. So we should probably kick off with that.
Yeah. Last week my screen name was Manifesting Mayhem Ball. It is now Manifested Mayhem Ball. I think we were maybe on air last week when I got the code, or maybe we had just finished, but we did get a pre-sale code and we did get into the ticket sale and we did survive the war. I wouldn't say we thrived. We didn't pay a lot, which is great. We didn't end up paying some exorbitant dynamic pricing fee, which that needs to go, by the way. Ticketmaster, right. You need to go with that. They're kind of side view seats, but we're going to go and we're going to be there. And if there's anything I've learned from the Eras Tour, there are no bad seats. There are only bad attitudes. So Correct. We're going to go have a good time. And I texted my mom prior to the show today, and I had asked her because she actually did get in first of the two of us, which is so funny because I feel like that's the second time that's happened. But she did get in first of the two of us that were trying for this. And bless her heart, she did her very best, but had no idea what to just didn't realize the level of the speed and quickness with which you must purchase tickets during a sale like this. She was trying to shop around a little bit and get the best seats in the best locations and, get them all together, and was kind of reading out the options. And at some point I had to be like, I'm so sorry, just pick something, because we were going to get locked out while she was shopping. And I was well behind her by probably 2 or 3 minutes to get into the sale. And with something like that, it could sell out in 2 to 3 minutes. So I was like, just put something in the cart. And she was trying her best, and then it wasn't letting her do it. And she was stressing, and I was stressing because we were on the phone together. And I did manage to get in, and I put something in the cart, which I have to disclaimer here, because for all of the stress she went through for that, I don't think it would have been possible if she hadn't got in first and been relaying that information to me, because through that stress, I learned what section she was looking at. And the rules of the sale, which is that you couldn't leave one single ticket together
Right.
And sometimes that's not a thing, but we were trying to buy 3 together, which is buying an odd number is always really tough. So I learned those 2 very important pieces of intelligence from her. So when I got in, I just had to find a row that had a lot together that wouldn't strand a single seat and just go and pick them. So it wouldn't have been possible without her. I think she feels really bad about not being able to get something. But she did a great job. And I asked her before the show today, I said, is there anything you'd like to mention on the podcast about your experience in the Mayhem Ball ticket line? She gives 5 pieces of advice. 1, it sucked, with 3 question marks at the end. Number 2, never buy an odd number of tickets. Again, question mark at the end. 3, it's not made for old people with little experience. Number 4, causes PTSD. And number 5, take a Xanax prior. And I said, you're on a roll. And she goes, you asked. Is that enough?
That's plenty.
So thank you so much, Mom. We did it. We will be there. We're going to see Lady Gaga in Vegas, and I'm going to lose a lot of money on the slot machines.
No, you're not. Stop
Yeah.
it. Stop it. Don't you
know
dare.
what, actually, because we're so good at manifesting here on the show, I'm going to win a lot of money at the slot machines. And I'm going to win at blackjack, and I'm going to walk out with plus money from the casino. Yeah, we're going to take it.
I love your attitude.
Always wins. The house always wins. Not today. Listen up. You're talking to an elite ball knower.
Unreal.
I could barely count to 21. I can't play that game.
I can't with you. I know half the time
Me trying to count to 21 under pressure? Today I thought you sent me the word substance instead of sustenance. I'm basically
That's true. Usually on this show, it's usually you saying I can't with you, or at some point in time in our text saying I can't with you today, because I'm very insufferable at times. This is the first time ever I'm going to say I can't with you today. Stop it. Okay. Stop your nonsense right now. Stop it.
All right, I'll do my best.
I appreciate your positivity, but no, like I said, I know where you're going to be. I just have to guess which casino you're going to be in, and I will come and drag you away from those damn slot machines.
I'm not telling you which casino we're going to be at, because then you'll send out.
Oh, time out! No, time out! No, yes, I know which casino you're going to be in, because you already have pre-told me that you're going to find the Dolly Parton slot machine. So all I have to do is just Google Dolly Parton slot machines on the Strip in Las Vegas, and I'm sure I'll come up with an answer.
Well, I hope you find something, because I don't know if those exist. I just sent you something. So if you find them and they exist, please tell me where, so I can go and play them.
Or the Ace Ventura slot machine.
Ace Ventura slot machine, yeah. A la Ava Daniels, season 1.
Yes.
This game is garbage, except when you win.
Anyway, I'm very glad that you managed to manifest, because I was like secondhand panicking for you because of everything I saw from other people who tried to get in, and I was like, oh man, this is not going to go well. We've had varying luck in our tickets. Like sometimes they're up and down. We don't get them every time.
Yeah.
So I was worried. I was worried for you, but I'm glad you got it. It's going to be a great time, I'm sure. Where's she playing at?
T-Mobile Arena in Vegas. Yeah.
Home of the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
Empire. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I can be in that building. Because,
You know what the great thing is? My internet crapped out there for a second, so I had no idea what you just said. It sounded like you were a robot.
Probably wasn't important anyway. Oh, good. I hope that comes through on the broadcast.
I don't think it will.
All right.
We just need to.
So that was good news.
Now we just need to manifest that same juju for All Things Go sale whenever that happens.
Oh God, I didn't even sign up for the pre-sale. I can't do it. It stresses me out too much. And capitalist nonsense. By the way, they're moving to the capitalist nonsense business model, which is like you pay for pre-sale access, and it doesn't even guarantee that you get tickets. And it's like, here's how you get, I don't know, a free pair of socks or something.
Right.
yeah, I don't know. That's nonsense. I don't believe in that at all. I think because of the frustrations of people in recent years with the ticket marketplace, we should be trying to make them more accessible to people instead of less accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And that includes removing all of those paywall and, pre-sale barriers to it. I do agree with pre-sale as far as it goes with like vetting people who are actual folks trying to buy tickets and not
Mm-hmm.
bots.
Yeah.
We could also do a better job about that. But either way, that's a scam to me. That's a scam. And I don't
It's
care how good the
stupid.
are for this, that it makes it really hard to support with that kind of business model going on behind it. And the worst part is that they have that age group and that demographic eating out of the palm of their hand with it.
Oh
They
yeah.
know they can upcharge it and get away with it because nobody's
Mm-hmm.
going to come.
Right.
Not fair.
Right. It's stupid. Yeah, I texted you about it the other day. I was like, "What crap is this? This is the stupidest thing ever." It's not even like, because it's not even like. Only way it makes sense is if it counts towards like a down payment towards tickets. So if you put your $50 in and you get tickets, that's fine. But if you put your $50 in, and you don't get tickets, you get refunded, which kind of makes sense in a way, I guess. But
Yeah. But you get like a hat and a shirt and a good luck next year, and that doesn't make any sense to me.
no, absolutely atrocious. So we'll see.
Mhm.
We'll see how that goes. We did.
I wish you luck if you decide to do it.
I will see. I probably will.
I mean, you know how it went for us. You know how it went for us last year, but
Yeah,
who knows?
we
If
went
you're not familiar
over.
here on the show, we went 0 for 4
We went over 4. Stupid.
with my mom. With my mom, we were in a group chat with my mother, and I
Yeah.
think on that one she got in first too, which is
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know why they keep selecting her for these things, but I think she'd be a lot less stressed if they would pick one of us instead of her.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow it keeps happening. So
Correct. Yeah. We also got news today that Lucy Dacus is extending her tour in the fall, and she's actually coming to both of our cities. So thank you, Lucy, for not forgetting that Phoenix and Indiana exist.
yeah, thank you so much for that. Maybe she listens. She's a listener to the show. She knows. Last week's episode got us approved on those tour dates.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
She said
And
we're not going to the every single album city, but we are going to the city
yes,
of my two most dedicated 10 out of 10 listeners.
exactly. I texted you about that last week because I listened, so you didn't have to. I listened to look. I love every single album. I listen to them all the time. Nora and Nathan are great, but they did not vibe with the Lucy record. It's like then it's not for you. Go away.
Yeah. Exactly. If you didn't vibe with it, it's not for you. Don't bash on it on the internet just because you didn't like it.
I mean they both gave it like one gave it like a B plus and one gave it like a B or something. So like they didn't like they didn't completely, but you could tell in the way they were speaking about it that they were more interested in the story of the record than they were actually the record itself. And they both did they both the only thing that I agree with them on is that they both agree that Lucy Dacus is a terrific songwriter. And they were like, yeah, lyrics are great, but they just didn't vibe with her like we did, like we said on the show last week, which we really enjoyed the production and the way it sounded and how different it was from her previous stuff, and they just didn't connect with it. So, and then they dropped in the ridiculous little one joke, which is like, come on, dude, let's not
Yeah,
do
we're
that.
throwing out talking about JB as the little one in 2025. No more of that.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll get to it in a minute. But like, yeah, she's crushing it this entire year. She just put out Ophelias just put out their record that Julian produced. I got JB Torres coming out in like a week or so. So hot JB summer coming up.
Hot JB Summer. Trademark. Write that down. All right. We have more hot music for you on this episode of the show. I think we should go there because you did a perfect little transition for it. You have actually, and I quote on the doc, the first bullet point says hot HAIM Summer. Would you like to discuss this?
Yes, yes. So last year we had Brat Summer. I'm already calling this Hot Haim Summer. Haim's
Okay.
already put out 2 singles for their new record. Both are bangers. Relationships is still stuck in my head, and everybody's trying to figure me out. Came out last week, and I am so excited for this new record. I love Haim, you know that very much. I am the bigger Haim fan of the two of us, and I am a big fan of their live show. So hopefully, if they go on tour, I can go check them out again because they're great live. And I'm very excited for Hot Haim Summer. They're gonna take it over. Everybody loves Haim. How can you not love Haim? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know what's not to like. I'm living for the aesthetic that they're doing with the album covers for these singles being like ripoffs of 90s paparazzi photos of
Yeah.
celebrities. Love it. Absolutely. It's camp and I love it.
Alana Haim is also going to be in a movie coming out later this year. The One Battle After Another. She's going to be in that movie. Paul Thomas Anderson. So looking forward to that because she was great in Licorice Pizza, which I love.
I remember you liked that one.
Yeah, yeah,
What is
and you know
getting-
it.
one of them is on the new Bon Iver record that comes out too.
Danielle. Yeah, I think that's
Yes,
Danielle.
Danielle is on. That one's already out. That's a single, but yeah,
I do need to
she's
check that
on
one.
there.
I need to check that song out too.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, go.
Summer for Haim after being in like hibernation for like the last little while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they went on tour with Taylor. They went on open for a couple dates, but after that, yeah, they kind of like went away for a bit, and now they're back, and it's gonna be great. I'm excited for Hot Haim Summer.
Good, excellent. Hot Joe Summer as well? Question mark for you maybe.
Hot Joe Summer. Okay, so first off, I did not. Speaking of tickets, I tried to get tickets to Joe when he's here in Phoenix later next week. Actually, sold out. Couldn't get a ticket. Really expensive. Playing the Van Buren. So who knows? Maybe those ticket prices will come down the day of. But yeah, he put out his new record called The Crux last week, and I'm gonna put this out there and I'm gonna state it. And I'm going to tell you right now that I honestly believe that this record is probably my favorite record of the year so far. It's that good. Yeah,
so far.
So far.
We have some big things coming up, but
yes.
I like where you're at.
Yeah, and the reason why is I know you you liked a couple songs from his last record, right? In the beginning was the big pop that got super popular, but that record in general was very like electronic pop.
Sure.
Is the best way to describe that record. And a lot of synths, etc., etc. This record is a lot more of a rock record, and like the guitar riffs on this record are so damn catchy. Like I'm vibing to this entire thing, dude. Like it is such a good record. Obviously you've heard the Basic Being Basic and Delete Ya that came out as singles, and those are great. But like song called Link, is incredibly cool. Like it just sounds cool. It is a rocking song. It is badass with badass guitars. Love it. Another song I'm going to shout out is Charlie's Garden, which is actually I don't want to say unique song, but it's kind of cool because it sounds like if I put it on for you, you'd easily be able to pick out who exactly it sounds like. It sounds like a Beatles song. It sounds like Octopus's Garden, and that's obviously very intentional. Obviously because he's Charlie's Garden,
Sure.
in reference to his co-star on Stranger Things, who's actually like who provides some like spoken word on that track. So yeah, I cannot say enough good things about this record. It is incredible. He co-produced this record with Adam Thine as well. So the fact that he produced his own stuff is really cool. We've talked a lot about that as well. And so cannot recommend this album enough. Go check it out. If you get to see him on tour this year, I hope he's great because I'm jealous. Back to you.
Yeah. And if you're seeing the show on tour, please no more than just End of Beginning. That's our plea.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. We have one more bullet point on music. I haven't listened to this track. Well, so I listened to one of the tracks of it. I haven't listened to the record, but it's the like you mentioned, the Julian Baker production on the new Ophelias record.
Mm-hmm.
Have you done a dive into this?
Yes, I've listened to it a couple times through actually. And I wasn't too familiar with the Ophelias before. I know JB.
Is my light flickering right now?
What? Oh yeah,
Okay. Yeah, my light bulb's definitely gonna go out, but it's
you
fine.
have. Yeah, you definitely have ghosts
Yeah.
in
All
your
right. We
apartment.
want answers. Got it.
Anyway, yeah. So I know JB did a what?
Should I poke it with something? Hold on.
No, it's no. Yeah.
Hold
Oh,
on. I don't have anything to poke it with.
I don't think poking is gonna help. You have to
Just stand here and stare at it angrily.
until it goes up. God.
Hey!
Got it.
Stop it.
Oh,
All right. All right. Well, if you have a sensitivity to flashing lights, maybe don't watch this on video.
it is really annoying. I had that happen to my light out in my like living room fan, and it was flickering, and it just drove me insane.
Yeah.
Drove me
Well,
absolutely
it's
nuts.
one of those where you would have to like unscrew the whole dome
Oh yeah.
to go and get the. I'm not doing that. Anyway, as you were.
Undiagnosed ADHD, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this show's all about, really.
You might as well be diagnosed at this point.
Anyway, back on track. Yeah. So JB did a feature with the Ophelias a while back, because I think they even toured together, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong about that. And so I wasn't too familiar with them prior to this, but I like this record. I think it's really well produced. It is a cool sounding record. I haven't really dove deep into like lyrically what it's like, but like it's one of those like records that's just cool to pop on, and it's like super chill indie rock type music, and I like it. It's a good record. I think you'll enjoy it too.
The only track I've heard off of it is Salome, which is also very funny if that's like a Sunset Boulevard reference or something. That's one of my favorite movies, but it's like I liked it. I very much liked it. It's a biblical. I think it's a biblical reference. I liked the like sonic sort of fingerprint of that, and I haven't really listened to anything else from the record, but if it sounds like that, I'll probably enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much more like experimental alternative, so don't go in expecting like bubblegum pop sound, but if you know
Mm-hmm.
anything in the vein of like even like Julian stuff, but if you know like um Big Thief or Flock of Dimes or something like that, then like it's very much in that same vein.
Right.
Good stuff. Our artists are booked and busy this year.
It's so true.
It's a treat. It's a treat to be a fan right now when your artists are booked and busy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about the other good news this week for me personally is that we got the Dutch national anthem once again on Sunday morning. I was getting a little teary-eyed over there at 3 a.m. my time when the race ended. We did get a win for Max Verstappen at Suzuka. Incredible qualifying. Am I lagging on your side?
No.
Okay. I was lagging on my
My
side. I was like,
my internet is
like
shit. So this is it's on me. Yeah.
all right, well, that's as good as it's gonna get. Incredible qualifying down to hundredths of a second. And really not a lot happened in the race except Lando decided to mow grass, which was crazy. Fresh off a pit stop, by the way. I know the pit crew was just crashing out because they were like, oh my God, we cover these tires so that nothing is on them. So they're pristine when we go and put them on the car. And then you take it out of the pit lane and you mow grass on the pit exit with these brand new tires. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here?
Dumb.
I
Once
don't know what
again,
that was.
yeah. Once again, proving that Lando Norris is not cut out to be a world champion.
Dumb, super dumb. And people were analyzing the pace and everything of Piastri, and I guess we concluded that maybe he still wouldn't have been able to catch Max if Lando had let him by. But it sure was frustrating when Oscar was like within a half second or 6/10 or something to Lando, and the team orders were not to swap the drivers around.
Right.
I mean, we talked about it before the season that it's very clear now who McLaren's number one is, and I think Oscar should be frustrated by that.
Absolutely. I agree. Yeah, I think I do think you're right, which is that if Oscar would have gotten into P2 there, I don't think he would have made much headway either, because a lot of the drivers in commentary, so a lot of the analysis after the race was like, these cars at tracks like Suzuka, you can't follow very well because the wake is so bad. So even if you get within DRS, you can't do anything with it because it's really, really hard to follow without upsetting your car and slow you down. And that's kind of what would have happened, and he would have finished, just outside of DRS. So it wouldn't have made much of a difference in that race. But yeah, just another masterclass by Max Verstappen. Like I was telling somebody this week, as part of Speed Freaks, we've had a couple of new folks join the Speed Freaks this year, and they are kind of new to Formula One. So I was explaining that, like, how impressed I am with Max and how he's like grown up and gotten he's gotten more like I'm missing the word. I can't speak English right now, but anyway, yeah, he's as he's gotten older, like he's impressed me more and more, and he's not who he was, even in 2021 as a driver and as a person. Like he's grown up, he's matured. That's the word I was looking for. He's really matured. I got there eventually. Okay, I got there.
I was gonna try and gently provoke you into that word if you didn't find it, but you found it.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Anyway, yeah, so he's really matured as a driver, as a person, and I've come around on Max a lot ever since I started watching Formula One, when I did not like him and I thought he was like a silver spoon fed, rich kid, right? Who was in over his heels, etc., that type of thing. But like now in the last year and a half or so, when he hasn't had the fastest car and he's still out there whipping these dudes, like you had the fourth fastest car in the grid this year, third, fourth fastest, yeah, and you're still putting that qualifying lap out there against these rocket ship McLarens, and you go in the race and you smoke them, and McLaren doesn't have anything for you all race long. That's why Max is a world champion, and like it's just he continues to impress me at every turn. How damn good of a driver he is at 28 years old. Like he's only 28, man. He's only 28 years old. Like I'm sure you compare him to, I don't know, I don't have the comparison in front of me, but comparing him and Lewis at their same ages, I'm curious to see what that looks like. I think Lewis joined maybe when he was like 19 or 20, so Max had a 2-year head start on him, but yeah, you're only 1 point back in the Drivers' World Championship. What the hell are you doing, Lando? Like, my God, rocket ship, doesn't matter. Max is still right there on your ass.
I mean, we talk about it. I think it's literally just the mentality and the consistency and how much less likely it is that Max is going to make a mistake. And if he makes a mistake, he salvages it. It doesn't usually end up in disaster or anything like that. It's if other drivers make a mistake, sometimes they end up in the wall. And I mean, sometimes Lando in the sprint race, I think, is like the biggest example of that he was just getting passed by people in a car that should not have been getting passed by Lance Stroll. There's something about it that's a disconnect that Max is able to almost like unconsciously drive the car and then also have this awareness of what's going on outside, where like we talked about it, where he was able to flag that Lando had turned the pit limiter off early. Or last season when he didn't lift under yellow flags, and Max was behind him and was able to tell that, or he was in front of him and was able to tell that. There's a 2019 race where he was able to tell that Ferrari was doing a double pit stop because he could hear the wheel guns in the background of his pit wall radio with GP. That just all that while he's driving a car at 200 kilometers an hour around a circuit on the absolute razor's edge, and is still able to be very clear-headed in communication. And that's something that the best drivers are having. Like Leclerc had it in that first race of the season where he broke his front wing and was like, nope, I'm fine. Downforce is fine. I'm just going to drive it around. It's like, something's very casually. He's like, okay, something's leaking. He's going around a corner, going around a corner. And he's like, hey, there's water in my seat. Like, dude, is that what you should be worried about right now?
Must be the water.
Lewis is still finding time to, Lewis is still finding time to sass his race engineer while he's barreling down the main straight. Like, that's something the drivers have in common that are really good, is they're really cool-headed under pressure, and he's got a sixth sense about it. So well-deserved win, and the car was beautiful. Can we take a moment for the return of the White Bull? Beautiful.
White Bull, iconic. So good.
Beautiful. It was commemorating the end of their partnership with Honda for engines this year, which is so unfortunate because it's been such a successful partnership. But the regulations are changing and all that good stuff. But they did a tribute car to one of Honda's first racing cars, and so we had a bunch of white cars on track this weekend. But it was like between that and the V-Carb and the Haas, it was like, oh my God, who is that?
Luckily, there was no overtaking, so we didn't have to really figure out who was who.
Yeah, not a lot happened. But I was nervous the whole time. It was everybody on Twitter that was like, nothing happened. The race was so boring. I was like, I was stressed the entire time, and my driver was in first. So I just kept thinking he was going to get passed. Like, oh my goodness gracious.
Yep. Shout out to Oliver Behrman, by the way.
Yes.
Taking that crappy ass Haas into the points again.
One single point, but that a boy. 50% bear, 50% man.
There was somebody, I think it was somebody on TikTok pointed out that, like, I missed this during the practice session, but somebody had the sign that said 50% bear, 50% man, and then they took a shot of Ollie in the car in the garage, and he sees the sign, and so he just smiles and gives the thumbs up.
Yeah, he has such smiley eyes under his helmet that you could tell that he was appreciating that. But yeah, that was fun. That was a fun weekend. Ferrari, what's going on, man? We spent all winter building the hype around the car, and we just don't seem to have the car yet. I have to think it's going to be like last season, where they're going to bring some upgrades around the time of Imola, like I think Red Bull's planning on.
Yeah, it seems to be the floor. The floor seems to be causing a lot of instability for them right now. At least that's, according to Lewis and Charles. And allegedly they are trying to decide whether or not they want to bring this upgrade or not. And allegedly that's an upgrade that might come this weekend at Bahrain. So I'm curious to see if that happens. But yeah, they've really, really underperformed. Even with the disqualifications, which, would have given them, 15 more points or whatever. Max Verstappen by himself is still outscoring Ferrari as a team. Go figure.
Horrifying. Really horrifying for that second Red Bull seat, but here we are.
Max is currently third. Max Verstappen is currently third in the constructors, not Red Bull.
Nice.
I do feel bad for Yuki though. He got screwed over in quality.
He did, yeah. I was gonna say he got screwed over by that red flag in Q2. I think he's got much more pace than what he showed. It was a difficult track to overtake on. Let's see what happens going forward. But it was promising. So far, the start was promising. We should also give flowers to Kimi Antonelli, who is now the youngest driver to lead a Formula One race, I believe.
Correct.
And the youngest driver to set a fastest lap in the race.
Correct.
So Well done. Well done, Kimmy. I've been impressed. I've been really impressed
He's
by him
yeah,
so
he's
far
been
this season.
really impressive. He's been, as we've learned with other rookies in the past and even other veteran drivers, like it's hard in these cars to not make mistakes when you're going to these tracks for the first time. Kimi's in a Formula One car at least, because some of these
Yeah.
tracks are obviously in Formula Two, but when you're going to these tracks a lot for the first time, and he shows up and he was making some mistakes in practice and in quali, kind of going over in that chicane area and whatnot. But other than that, I've been completely proven wrong about Kimi Antonelli. Whatever it is that Toto Wolff saw in him in Formula 2 and in the feeder series, it's working because he's showing me a lot in terms of showing up as an 18-year-old and doing what he's doing. And being like right there with George too. Like he's pushing George a lot. Like they're not that far off from each other. I think George has finished ahead of him in every race this year, but I could be wrong about that.
But George has been
But
completely just absent in the field. He's just been driving around like a lonely race in circles and then somehow
yeah,
picking up points or podiums or whatever it is. But
right,
he's been a ghost out there until somehow at the end of the race he finishes in P3 or P4.
right.
This weekend that didn't happen because nobody in the first few cars made a mistake, but was crazy. I should also give flowers to Isaac Hadjar, who had a terrific weekend, and he's
Her
been great.
joints, her
Had
joints.
joints, had joints. I don't know if that's gonna catch on, but it's very funny. But he had a terrific weekend, and everything he's done since bouncing back from that crash in the first weekend has been
Right,
awesome. So credit to him.
right. Also, Williams has more points already this year than they did all of last year.
Wow, Williams. It's almost entirely all Alex Albon.
Yeah, not Carlos.
Yeah.
Definitely not Carlos.
Which is probably really horrifying for Williams. They're like, oh my God, we spent so much money and James Valls had to get this guy here. And you
Carlos
had
has
your number
1
one
point.
driver sitting there. Yeah. You had your number one driver sitting in the garage all year last year. You just had a terrible car.
Yeah, and then Alpine, nothing for you.
Nothing for you. And I fear for Jack Doohan at this point in time. I fear for his seat. I think it's red hot right now. They're looking to put Colin
Oh yeah, we talked about that before the season.
But just based on how it's been going, like there was an opportunity for him to at least, perform to expectations or even to overperform. But based on how it's been going, I fear for him. I think he deserves better than what he might be about to get, which is a seat replacement.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's Formula One
All
hour,
right.
Formula One brain cell for the week. Coming up is
Those
Bahrain. People were complaining that about it being a triple header, 3 races in a row. Why are
I'm not
people complaining?
Who's
Why?
complaining?
Yeah. No, I saw just people on the internet are like, "Oh, a triple header." Yeah,
It's fun. Triple headers are fun. I don't know. Get
it's
over
better than
yourselves.
going. It's better than IndyCar, which has had 2 races in a month and a half.
IndyCar's schedule is so
It's stupid.
unpredictable. It lacks any kind of consistency, which I'm sure you guys talk about this a lot.
Oh,
but
yes.
If it were certainly more consistent, you would get more viewership. But because it's not, nobody knows when to tune in or what the deal is.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I'm glad you said that
This has been Speed Freaks.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. I'm still jealous that you're going to the Indy 500 this year, and my ass is going to be
am.
sat on the couch again
Yeah,
for like the 10th year in a row.
Talked about that. I don't know if we talked about that. My parents are coming
I think
out, and we're all
I-
going to go to the Indy 500.
Yeah. Do you want to? Can I come too? Just
Yeah. Come on.
On my-
I don't know
just
if
on
you
my
wanna
own
go to the
dime?
Snake Pit or what the deal is, but yeah. We're certainly not. I'm not taking my parents to the Snake Pit. That would be my nightmare personified. I'm taking them to the
absolutely.
Mayhem Ball tour. They don't need to go to the Snake Pit.
I'm glad that
Imagining
you
my
can.
dad at the Mayhem Ball
Yeah, I am convinced. I am glad that you convinced your dad to go see Lady Gaga.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do, and Dad, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I know you'll listen to this, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that like I live away from home now. So anytime I'm home and there's an opportunity for us to do things together, it automatically becomes everybody because that I'm only home a couple times a year or they're out here a couple times a year or whatever it may be. It's like I'm not gonna leave him at home when I only have like 10 days at home over the summer. We're all gonna go. So,
Right.
there you
right.
are. Dad, I'm already
And
planning your outfit. Watch your back.
yeah, and better to be at the concert than be at the ridiculous slots.
Yeah, but the casinos are 24 hours. There's going to be plenty of time for the slots before and or after the show.
God damn it.
You can't stop me. You know what I am very much looking forward to, and I haven't run this by my parents or anything yet on the itinerary, but I really want to go see that Grand Prix Plaza, the F1 karting that they have that they're going to
Oh
open
yeah.
in Vegas soon. I'm gonna try and convince them to get on board with that. I don't know if I'll be able to convince my mom because of the nightmare that happened at Carlos Sainz karting.
Yeah.
But I might be able to convince my dad, or at least just convince him to go and let me drive around in circles for a bit.
Yeah.
Get
cool.
get the zoomies out. Yeah.
They have
DRS. They have carts with DRS. We
yeah,
gotta
they have
go.
DRS and ERS.
We gotta
K1,
go, guys.
Press K1.
And we know it's difficult. Press K1. We recommend brake balance -1. Yeah, I know. There's a reason I'm not doing it.
Strat 11.
Strat 12, pit, box and pit confirm. Strat 12 in the pit lane. All right, that's enough. That's enough of that. All right. The next item you have on here is we yell at each other for the merits of food delivery. This did happen over text message earlier this week. We were beefing. We beef a lot. But it's all friendly beef. It's Wagyu beef, not the cheap stuff.
We don't do it that often.
No, just like every couple of days, probably.
Every couple of days.
Yeah. Usually we go at least a few days without hating on something the other person's done, but it's at least once a week that somebody's like, you're being stupid. Anyway. Yeah.
No, this was
photo evidence for this, by the way. You have photo evidence for this point.
I do. I don't have it ready on the show, but I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So my point being here is, yeah, Jordan and I were arguing over the merits of food delivery because, I was trying to explain to you that Domino's is the proletariat pizza because I decided to get Domino's this week and I got 2 pizzas and some like bread bites for like $17. Mm-hmm. Genius. Absolutely genius. And then you said, no, they're not proletariat because I tried to get a pizza for them for $25.
I did. I tried to get one single medium 1 topping pizza. It was going to be $25. So I didn't do it because I was like, that's a scam. I've already been yelling about capitalism on this episode of the show. And you texted back and said, I need to teach you the ways of the $6.99 for 2 or more deal. I was like, all right, give me the math on that. And you sent it, and it does check out. Your grand total was $17.60. But I see through the caveat involved here.
Which is I went and got it as carry out. So
nobody has time for that. That's why we order pizza delivery.
Oh, get out of here.
And that's where the fee comes from. It's like $9.99 to get something delivered. And you have to have a minimum order amount.
Right.
Which is also a scam, by the way. Because sometimes I just want like a, cheesy bread or something delivered. But I'm not going to be able to order $14 worth of cheesy bread for one person to get that delivered to my house and to meet the delivery minimum so that you can charge me another $9.99 to go have someone bring it to me. That's a ruse. That's a scam. I'm being hoodwinked. Yeah. So your math checked out, except for the fact that you had to go pick it up in person yourself.
Yeah.
And to your point, you said delivery is the real scam, which is true. That's the reason it's expensive. And I said, you had me in the first half and we solved nothing here. And then you sent me a screenshot of you adding this this text to the document that just says we yell at each other for the merits of food delivery. This is why we're beefing this week. Is the delivery is expensive.
I hate delivery. I never do it ever. I hate DoorDash. I hate Postmates. I hate all that. I think it's stupid and ridiculous because you have to pay so much because you're too lazy to leave your house. Now, okay, time out. I will say this. I am lucky enough that I live in an area where I have like so many damn options within like 5-minute drive, like east or west of me, or north and south, right? Everything's within a 5-minute drive of me. I will go to leave my house for 5 minutes and go pick up my food and come back. That's easy peasy. I will do that all day. However, I understand that for a lot of people, that's not entirely the case, and they have to drive further out to get their stuff.
Yeah, mine would be like 25 minutes round trip.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a lot. There's like only 2 or 3 Domino's in town, and not all of them are directly close to me.
Right. So I understand it, but at the same time, I do not like it. People don't have to be that lazy. Get in your car, take the time, go pick it up. It's cheaper, and it's not as lazy. The food's fresher because you're gonna have your delivery driver, etc., etc. No, you go, you pick it up, it's fresh, and you're the only one that's handling it, and not somebody else, and you don't have to tip on the top of that too. So, yeah, food delivery is a scam.
Miles on, okay, so we can agree on that point in particular, is that delivery is a scam and delivery fees are a scam.
Yes.
If you get delivery, please tip your delivery person. My dad is calling me. I'm so sorry. I can't pick it up. You'll know when you watch this episode. Like,
wait 10 minutes, Dad. Wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know. So, like, delivery is a scam. Delivery fees are a scam. If you're getting delivery, please tip your delivery person, especially if it's like bad weather and you're making them drive out to you in that. All right. I guess if it's viable, go get carry out and do it yourself.
I win. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I win. Good night, everybody.
All right, whatever. Yeah, you know what? You win. You win this week. I'll let you keep that one. Go ahead. It's yours. Take the W. It's yours. Okay, our next point is updates on our TV show recommendations for each other. How's it going? Are you enjoying Hacks?
I am. I'm like crushing through it. I started, I don't know. When did I start? When did I text you that I started the first episode? Do you remember?
I'm sure I can find it.
Like Saturday or something?
Yeah, it was recently. Let's see. You were Well, you were on episode 6 on Saturday, so no, you definitely started
earlier. Thursday?
Let me see, because you just sent me a picture, so I was like using the search feature to search the text, but I also have not watched Hot Ones with Mother Han yet, which I need to do. You started Wednesday.
So I started less than a week ago. And I am I have finished 15 episodes.
You're 1.5 seasons in less than a week. So it goes fast. It goes fast, like I said, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. I get texts from you at like certain points. I'm like, oh, he's on that episode. You're gonna love it.
It's this show is good for at least 1 or 2 like really hard laughs an episode. Absolutely. There's some characters on here that just crack me up every time they're on screen. I know you don't like Kayla. I love Kayla. I think she every time.
I think she's funny, but she irritates me in a like secondhand embarrassment kind of way.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, this person working in my office. Yeah, she's great though. She's so great, and
she's so fun.
I do think this is, and you can agree or disagree with me here, but I enjoy this show in that it seems like every season is kind of one-upping the one before it. Like the stakes get a little bit higher, but also the depth of like our attachment to the plot and the characters gets a little bit higher. And I think that's rare, is that that happens in a long running show like this, where sometimes you'll have a season where it kind of falls off. It hasn't felt like that's the case so far.
Right. Right.
And by the time you watch this episode on Friday, season 4, at least the first couple of episodes, will be out. So keep up. Why don't you?
Yeah, I originally was gonna try and get through all the episodes before the new season dropped. I don't think I'm gonna do that, but I'm gonna be pretty dang close.
You will. You'll be close. Yeah, you'll be close enough to probably start it by the end of the week, I would say. Maybe.
I will say I finished the lesbian cruise episode.
Yeah.
I think yesterday.
That's a
Terrific
great one.
episode. And when they get kicked off the cruise.
Yeah, the passengers have taken a quorum and they get kicked off and they get put on this little dinghy with like the Coast Guard. Crazy.
And Ava goes, Molly's kicking in, and just immediately starts dancing on this stupid
Like,
little
I
boat.
might have to dance. She's on a raft in the middle of the ocean. So great. So great. Love that show.
So yes, I'm enjoying it. Great recommendation.
Thank you. I would like to shout you out for the Severance recommendation. Hold on. I am through episode 7 of the first season, of which there are 9. So I'm most of the way done with the first season. It's been really, really good. And I'm not like utterly surprised by that, because your pitch, and I put this in the document, but the read your color quiz, but like if you had given me the synopsis of Severance as like a book, I would have just picked it up and read it, because that sounds like my type of thing. It was just a matter of whether my criminally short attention span was going to be able to get through the hour-long episodes to get to the 45-minute episodes later in the season. And we did make it through, and some of it feels a little long at times, but you're right about it all having, like, every detail that's in there has a place and a reason why it's in there, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all kind of connects together at the end.
Yep, I think I mentioned to you too that season 1 is very like deliberately paced, and then the last episode is what really like hit you like a ton of bricks and go, oh damn, we're in for it. And I'm so glad that you don't have to wait 3 seasons in between the cliffhanger at the end of season 1 like I did.
That's true, but I think now we both are going to be in for a terrible wait after I finish season 2.
Correct. Although not as long, but yes.
Yeah, really rough. I'm not looking forward to that, and I'm not even close to being there yet, but I'm already afraid of it. I like Helly. She's crazy. She's trying to break out at every possible opportunity. Girl does not want to be there. She is trying to find every way possible to get out of this thing.
Britt Lauer was on, I think, Jimmy Fallon last week, and like did a trumpet version of the Severance open theme.
I was gonna say, I saw her with a trumpet on a late night show, and I don't have any context for that, but phenomenal.
Right.
Did she play? Was that the context? Like she plays.
I don't know. I
trumpet?
just saw the clip, and that's it. I just saw the clip from the show, and that's it. Yeah.
So we're on the same page there. Yeah. I don't know. But it's been incredible. There's such a, like, I just have to imagine the writer's room is just like Pepe Sylvia, where it's just like one big cork board with a bunch of like red strings on it. Is it because it doesn't make any sense any other way? It's like they're connecting these details together that have no business making sense.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, really? That offhand comment that somebody made 4 episodes ago in the middle of the dialogue is important?
Right.
And
right.
somehow it is. And Derek Zoolander, of all people, is like the executive producer.
Director and EP. Yep.
That guy from Night at the Museum is world building on this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. And after that complete nightmare for our continuity editors, we are back. The continuity editor is me, actually. Macro data refinement. I'm pretty much done with that topic anyway, but I like how the whole thing, connects. It's a complex web the work is mysterious and important.
I'm excited for you to get to the waffle party episode, which is your next episode. You weren't ready for that. So when I started watching Severance, everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna get to the waffle party episode," and they were like hyping this thing up, and I got to, and I was like, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting." So just be
Well, it's the same
prepared for
thing. Like I wasn't expecting with the dance experience.
the music dance experiment.
The dance experience. We're getting into it for a minute. Milkshake has the moves.
More of that to come in season 2.
Good.
But yeah, so you'll get to the waffle party. The waffle party is weird, but what about the show isn't? But yeah, I'm excited for you to get to season 2, and it's great. I season 2 is better than season 1 in my opinion. So I'm glad you like it. Wasn't 100% sure if you would or not, but I'm glad you're on board. And like I said, you got through the parts of the show that are a little, less interesting. Those first, 4 or 5 episodes, and then it gets, it keeps going and going and gets better and better.
Yeah, you gotta build the world a little bit. I see where that's coming from. Yeah. All right. That has been our recommendations for each other on television. Follow up from last week. That was, we said it at the start of this segment, but like that was a really quick turnaround for both of us. It was like last week we're like, hey, you should watch this. This week we're like, all right, we're done with 75% of it. What's next? I do think if it were, I said this, but if it were a book, if it were a blurb on the Read Your Color quiz, I would have hit absolutely would read.
Right.
And if you are unfamiliar here on the show, Richie and I have both taken it. I didn't realize that you had taken it, but I was just shown it literally yesterday. If you are on #BookTalk and you don't know what to read or the recommendations don't seem like they're for you, try the Read Your Color quiz, because it'll give you some good recs about stuff that fits the genres that you like. I don't know how they made that quiz, but it seemed pretty accurate. I guess.
Yeah, I am currently reading like 3 books at once right now. So
nightmare. That's my nightmare.
I am all in on the book talk. Still working my way through Fourth Wing. I'm about halfway done, so we're getting there. I love it so far. I'm all in, and so I'm excited to continue that. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like it, but I love it so far. So we're getting there. And then my other books are both like nonfiction books, which are generally most of the time when I read. So that's why I had trouble with this, because I was like, for me, in order to read something, I need like a longer synopsis. These were like paragraph long synopsises, and so I was like, I don't know. I need more information to know if I'm going to read this or not. I can't commit to that. That's too much commitment. And so there were only like 1 or 2 that I was like, okay, I'll read that. So my results were
commitment issues.
Yeah, my results were pretty mixed.
Mine were very strong in one direction, but I was shown somebody who the person who recommended this to me, their friend scored a 100% yellow on that test. Which, like, that's obviously wild. Right? Like you have a type. You have a type there. You and I feel like maybe have less of a type. It's more spread out. Actually, I'd be interested to see if you did the same thing. But there were a couple that because they give you, if you're not familiar, they give you a little synopsis of like a fictional novel, and then you check from like 1 to 5 or 0 to 5 or whatever how likely you would be to read a book with that fictional jacket synopsis. There were a couple where I was like, I would watch a documentary on this, but I would not read a book about this. Yeah.
Right.
So I had that a couple of times. I was like, I would probably watch one on like the tech empire, but I probably wouldn't read about it, but I would read one about the environment and climate change. I learned something horrifying about AI and climate change, but we could save that for next week. But I learned that yesterday, and it ruined my day.
Oh yeah, I saw it. You put it on your Instagram story. I saw that.
Terrible.
Do you have
terrifying.
Yeah, did you happen to have did you screenshot like your recommendations or have them? that I gave you?
I know a couple of them. I know a couple of them off the top of my head because two of them were books that I had already read and enjoyed, and then
Oh,
one of them was on my list. So I was like, it did typecast me pretty well. Um, the one that the two that I had read and enjoyed were in Cloud Atlas. I don't remember the author, and then Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut, who is a Hoosier. They have like a Vonnegut house and museum up in
oh,
Indianapolis, which
really?
is kind of cool. And then the one that they had recommended that I also had like in my to read list was Infinite Jest.
I
But
got that one too.
yeah, I'm like if you're on the Read Your Color quiz, I was like an 80% purple, 60% blue, and you were
I
very
was
much
like all over the place. I was like 30,
yeah.
25 to 30% on everything because I was so damn indecisive.
Yeah.
But
So
the
if you're
ones I were
looking for
more
your
likely
next
to,
read,
yeah, the ones I were more likely to read was the more like kind of sci-fi kind of because I like science fiction. So that's kind of where I tried to. If it's science fiction, I was more likely to pick it. If not, I was like, eh. If it was science fiction or like like a or it sounded more non-fictiony and something that I would learn something from, I would pick it. Like here's my four. I got Cloud Atlas, I got Infinite Jest, I got Cormac McCarthy's The Road, which has got turned into a movie. I know
yep.
that. And then I got Kafka on the Shore. I don't know what that is, but
So
that's
you got the same one that I did because I had those as well. I had Kafka in my recommendations, but yeah, that's a good quiz, I think. But I'm like the only ones that I was putting absolute no on were the ones where it was like very like high fantasy, and then the ones that are like forbidden romance. I'm like, I get that out of my face. Get that
Forbidden
out of my face.
Romance.
Awful. Like, yeah. I'm
Then
like,
you
just
okay,
go
yeah,
away.
then you would not like Fourth Wing. Do not read Fourth Wing. You wouldn't like it.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like those things I don't like, which is like the high fantasy, like dragons and
Yeah.
castles and
Yeah.
magic and
Yeah.
whatever. Like, and then also like forbidden romance. I'm like, well, probably not. Probably not. I would prefer a mystery or a true crime or a. I like
Yeah.
books that make you think. I like a thought provoker. I want to come out of my literary experience feeling like I have gained something, like a new
Yeah, learning.
perspective
That's why I
or
love.
whatever.
That's why I
Right.
leave. That's why I love reading nonfiction stuff because I'm generally going to learn something from it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's generally like most of my reads. Most of my
Yeah.
reads are that way. But
So
yeah, sometimes.
it seems like you did also get like whatever percentage of purple you scored that triggered your like preference because that was what I got.
Yeah, exactly. Let me bring it up real quick. It's here somewhere. I'll tell you. Oh, I sent it to you. Hang on, I sent it to you.
Yeah.
I gotta go scroll through the Mother Han. Here we go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I got 40% purple, 35
Okay.
green, 30 orange, 20 yellow, 25 blue, and 30 red.
Yeah, you were very even across the board. Well done.
Again, because I'm too indecisive.
Well, if that were like standardized test averages, you would do real well. So that's good.
Right? Yeah.
Your standard deviation is very small. Your data set is excellent. So
Yes.
yeah. All
The
right, we got
numbers
one
are
last
mysterious and
topic.
important.
Yeah, everything it's macro data refinement. Do they make you feel a certain way? I was dying laughing. Helly's sitting at that computer and she's like, "Oh God, a 4." Dylan's like, "Do not mess around." Then she does get it at some point, which is funny. We have one last topic on the podcast. It is a massive flaw that I created this week. It might be a one brain cell award. It might be worthy of such a thing. Richie's put it on the document as kitchen nightmares, which is objectively very funny. So well done.
Explain yourself.
Podcast title: Kitchen Nightmare. Literary commitment issues and kitchen nightmares.
Podcast title.
Episode title.
There you go.
Okay, this week, so this was a direct result, butterfly effect of the delivery debacle. in which I decided to, again, buy a pizza from the grocery store and cook it myself. And it was going really, really well. It was looking beautiful, had some nice crisp edges. It was one of those, like, cook it in the pan in the oven. But the center was like kind of, it still looks kind of chewy, maybe kind of a little undone. And like, I don't typically have a problem with it, but it looked like kind of, borderline done. So I was like, I'll just put the broiler on for a minute and like crisp up the top, and it should be totally fine. I had it on for probably a total of 60 seconds. But I tell you, when I took that thing out of the oven, there was a little bit of smoke inside of the oven. I was initially concerned that the pan that it was in had melted. I was like, oh God, please don't have, dripped onto the inside of my oven. What started out as a 4-cheese pizza became Dante's fourth circle of hell cheese pizza. This is if the devil himself ordered something extra crispy. Yeah. I don't know what to say about this item.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was fine. I gave all of it a crispy edge. Love you playing with the graphics assets right now. I gave all of it a crispy edge, which would have been excellent on brownies, but was kind of debatably okay on this pizza. The awful part was that once it had cooled, because I let it cool so I wouldn't burn my mouth on hell's lava. Once it had cooled, the outer crust became the texture of formerly molten and now cooled to room temperature igneous volcanic rock. It was not fun to bite into. It tasted like charcoal, so eventually I just kind of cut around it, and it was fine to have the middle. So I created and solved a problem all in one, which is that I wanted the middle to be edible, but I accidentally sacrificed the entire crust to make the middle edible. Because I ended up mostly just eating the middle after all of this anyway. So, smart. And that brought back memories of Richie's own kitchen nightmare, which objectively is like so much less terrible than mine.
Actually, this pizza actually tasted good. It was fine. I actually like a little burnt on the top because it like it's crispier. Especially on the French bread, the crispier the better. So it didn't bother me.
I was flaming you for that, and then whatever happened this week happened, and now I have no room to talk or to make fun of you about that. So I'm gonna apologize retroactively.
That's funny. Everything comes back around.
It does. As we've learned, we're great at manifesting on this show. So
yes.
We know this. We notice.
We notice.
All right. Anything else for the people before we let them go?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, you heard the man. We'll be back next week with hopefully both of our recaps on this beginning of season 4 of Hacks, as long as some other thoughts about probably the F1 triple header that we're in the middle of. And that should be good. So stick around for that. Or if you want to hear about what happened when I had to call my dad back while he called in the middle of this episode. So that should be fun. We are at OHOBC Pod, wherever you get your social media doom scrolling, your platforming. You can find us on YouTube and maybe eventually Twitch, ? Lead in for the next episode.
Hey, hello.
Maybe. Cliffhanger. There you go. See you next week.